Okay, so I adjusted the playlist a little bit. I think I like it better now. And we're gonna do a bunch of stuff today, just kind of all the way through the body. You may at some point find a block to be useful. If you have something like a block, you might find it useful. You might not care that much. Um, I'm sitting on Freddie Mercury's face, which I always recommend, but if you don't have a pillow with Freddie's face on it, you could always just sit on any pillow or your block or a rolled up towel or something just to help elevate your hips and help them feel a little bit more at ease about this whole like being a human thing that's like really complicated, like physically and also like kind of moving through the world. There's just like so many layers and things get so muddled up and we come to this process, this practice as a means to try to make sense of it, right? Like we try to feel a little bit more at ease in our body and a little bit more at ease in our interactions with the world, even if it's all coming from inside. And I was talking with some friends about that. There's this concept in yoga, we talk about the stories that you tell yourself. And my friend and I are really into this theory, this philosophy, and our other friend wasn't, and he was really offended at what he thought we were trying to say. Oh no, you just need to keep telling yourself a story that these traumatic things that have happened to you didn't happen or aren't affecting you. And that was not what we were getting at all. Like that completely goes against that idea of wanting to be with what is. This idea of being mindful of the stories that you tell yourself is not trying to like rewrite reality, and it's not trying to rewrite your experience, your response. It's more of like making sure that we can feel and experience what we're feeling and experiencing, and deciding what we want to be bound to, deciding what we want to deepen our interactions with. And it's definitely more applicable to the future thing. And so I was telling my friend, it's like, like you clearly are already watching the stories you tell yourself, because the things that you've experienced, you could have told yourself the story that you're going to be defined by them. Could have told yourself the story that you are going to continue on this destructive pathway that your family history has installed upon you, and you have not. You have told yourself a different story, that you are going to be a wonderful friend and human. And so like that's where we've started to kind of come into this connection with that. So I'll be watching our stories today, watching the stories we tell ourselves about what we are and are not affected by, watching the stories that we tell ourselves in what we expect in the future from ourselves and from others. I just saw a few more folks pop in. Welcome, guys. If you have a block or a block-like object and you want to have that handy up by the front of your mat space, grab it. Welcome to a comfy seat. You're going to take your index finger and your thumb together. We're going to go from the center of the forehead outwards towards your temples a few times. Just brushing the spot at the base of your thumb, like that squishy space there. And then going from the sides of your nose out to your temples, along your cheekbones. From your temples down to your chin, along your jawline. From the sides of your nose down to your chin, along your laugh lines. And having done some of this brushing out in your face, we'll move the fingertips to the backs of your ears, and there's a little bony spot that's right above the little soft spot back there. And if you lift up from that point, it's a really nice way to lift your spine. So when I say try to lift up and extend your ears, that's what I'm getting at there. And staying lifted as you release your hands down into your lap. Taking a few deep breaths. And we notice it's actually kind of cool to unmute to Om, but if you're like in a difficult like space to be able to like reach over and unmute, like don't worry about it. But if you wanted to, you could do that. I'm just kind of going to leave that open from now on. We'll start off. Everybody take a nice big breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Again, like that. For 3 Oms. Welcome to your practice, friends. Go ahead and hit the mute button again if you unmuted, and then we're going to come and change our seat a little bit. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together, and you might have to adjust your seat a little bit in this space. Take your arms, go ahead and lift them up. Feel the backs of your ears lifting up, and stay lifted as you twist over towards your right side. So you're going to put your hand on your knee and your right hand in nice and close to you. Take an inhale, maybe get up a little bit taller. And on your exhale, soften your belly. You might feel a little more twist. One more breath like that. Relax your inner left thigh. And come back to the center. Lift both arms up. Big breath in. Exhale, twisting over towards the left. So get a little taller through the backs of the ears, softening in your center, letting the collarbones broaden. One more breath in. Stay there as you breathe out. And come back to the center. Lift both arms up. You're going to stay lifted. Just pull your elbows out to the side and a little bit back behind you. But I actually find a little bit more opening if I let the hands go back more than the elbows go back. Then take an inhale, reach the arms up. And don't worry about how far you reach forward. Just go ahead and soften your hands down and then let your heart reach forward. So relaxing your body. Feeling the lower back soften. And we'll take this into a little bit faster flow, not faster, but less breaths in each place. I'm going to take your arms, lift them up, take a breath in. Exhale, twisting over towards the right. See if you can relax your inner left thigh. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, twist to the left, relax your inner right thigh. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, pull those elbows out wide. Feel your chest opening up. Inhale, lift it up again. And exhale, take your hands forward, then lead with the heart. So just being nice and soft. Inhale, lifting it back up. Exhale, twisting right. Inhale to the center. Exhale, twisting to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, elbows pulling out wide, chest opening. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands down, and the rest of you follows. One more breath here. And lift it back up again. Take the arms up, inhale. Exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the center. Elbows out wide, exhale. Inhale up to the middle. Exhale, coming forward. We're going to stay this time. Scoot your feet a little bit further away from you and then allow your body to rest forward. Maybe you've got a little bit more room to come forward. One more breath out. Start to walk the body back. So you're going to come up and you're going to lay down on your belly. So if you've been sitting up on anything, go ahead and move it off to the side. You're going to lay down face down, and you're going to take your right leg, bring it out from your hip, and then your ankle is underneath the knee. You've got that geometric shape, not foot in, but just drop right down there, a bunch of 90-degree angles. And then you're going to take your left arm, and I've got it reaching out, palm facing down. Go ahead and rest your head down. Maybe you have your head resting on your hand here, looking over towards the right side. Probably not a big stretch on your inner right thigh, but it might be. See if you can release your right thigh bone down to the bottom of your hip socket. A little bit more space in the upper butt region. One more exhale. And go ahead and pick your head up, slide your right leg in. You're going to reach that right arm out, and then maybe the left hand comes in or it goes underneath your head. You're going to take your left knee out from the hip, foot underneath the knee, and then having this space in this half frog, see if you can release or actively extend the top of your left thigh bone downwards towards the bottom of your hip socket, as if you were able to move the bone around inside of that joint. One more exhale. Slide that left leg back. You're going to bring the left hand in. Go ahead and push yourself up. I want you to come up to sit on your left hip. You're going to have this left hip in the place that you're sitting. So the bottom leg, go ahead and pull it out. This top leg, you're going to extend it back and then turn your body forward to the floor again. You're going to come down onto your elbows. If this feels like a lot, I want you to bring this back leg in a little closer. You can keep it out though, that's a little bit more oomph. You're gonna keep rolling your belly button and your heart in the direction of the floor. You might even take your belly button and your heart down to the floor. But you're gonna go just as far as you can twist based on how your lower back is feeling today. If you notice points of tightness watching that story that you tell, the story is not like I'm bad because I'm tight today, or the story is not, I'm gonna always be tight. The story is I feel this tightness and I'm gonna respond appropriately. One more exhale. And try to press yourself up. You can swing your legs around or just kind of roll over onto the opposite hip here. So I've got the bottom leg just kind of out in front of me, and then the back leg extends back as much as I can. And I turn the belly and the heart down to the floor, or maybe take the belly and the heart down towards the floor. Few more breaths. Start to lift yourself up. You're going to take yourself up onto your hands and knees now. Work through a few cat and cow. So inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, round the spine, look back. Couple more. Inhale, chest goes forward. Exhale, tailbone tucks down. 2 more on your own. Then on your next inhale, come back towards a more neutral spine. You're going to take your right leg and you're going to slide it out to your right side. Try to leave the pinky toe edge of the foot down. Feel your thigh bone. If it's reached up into the top of your hip socket, can you rest the thigh bone towards the bottom of your hip socket? One more exhale. You're going to take that right foot up further. You're going to bring it up outside of your right hand, maybe a little bit more up by your fingertips than your wrist. And then bring the hands forward. Maybe you come onto your fingertips. Push down into your right foot so that you feel this firm connection with the floor. A little bit more active in that right leg. One more breath out. And start to walk the hands back in. You're going to wiggle the right foot a little bit closer in now, so it's not quite as wide. You might put a block underneath your left hand. You're going to take the right arm open and push down into that right foot so that you feel that thigh bone pulling back towards the back of the hip socket. Stay here, breathe in. Stay here, breathe out. Now you're going to reach this arm back and then see if you can come up hard up above your hips, which can be very hard to do. Then you'll put your hands together and you're going to bring your elbow down to your knee. If this is difficult, I want you to put your right hand at your hip. It's going to help with your balance. If you can push into that elbow and get your heart a little bit closer to your thumbs, go for it. Now this is completely optional. You might decide not to do this bit because it's going to be difficult. Maybe you're not feeling it today. Maybe your knee's a little wonky. But maybe you curl the back toes under and lift that back knee up. And watch that the top shoulder isn't falling inwards. Exhale. And then you're going to release the knee, release your hands, glide that right leg back, coming back onto your hands and knees. Let's take 3, cat and cow. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, rounding in. 2 more on your own. Move with your breath. Coming back to neutral. And then sliding your left foot out to the left. So it's right about in line with your hip bone. Pinky toe edge of the foot is down. Releasing your thigh bone, instead of letting it go up, releasing it back to the bottom of your hip socket. One more breath out. And you're going to start to bring your left foot up outside of your left hand. Maybe it's a little bit more oh, excuse me. Maybe it's a little bit more forward by your fingers, or like there's a chip in your throat. But then you might take your fingertips further forward. You're going to keep pushing down into the left foot. You might come out. This is reaching forward on fingertips. Oh, the heart reaches in this one. Oh, different action. This time heart reaches forward towards your hand. Yeah, long spine. A nice long round of breath. Nice smooth exhale if you can. And then you're going to bring the hands back. You're going to wiggle the left foot in a little bit closer. You're going to take the left arm up and pull the left thigh bone back into the bottom of the hip socket. Open from the heart out into both hands. Big breath in. Big breath out. Back with your left arm until maybe your hips come up above your hands or above your heart. Oh my gosh, body parts, words. You're doing a great job. And then you're going to bring your hands to your heart and your right elbow goes down to your left knee. The left hand might go to your hip. You might decide to stay here, or you curl the back toes under and lift the back leg. You have to push strong into both feet and feel your inner thighs lifting up. See if you can open the top collarbone to get your heart a little bit closer to your thumbs. Maybe. Nice and easy. Release your knee back down. Release your hands down. And then you're going to bring both knees back. We're going to take another 3 cat and cow. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, look up. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale. Exhale. Relax into a more neutral spine. Bring your knees out wider. You're going to sit your hips back into child's pose. Walking your fingertips out as far as they will go. And keep relaxing your inner shoulders. So if there's any of the inner shoulders lifting upwards, you're going to keep letting them soften outwards. If you wiggle your hips a little side to side, seeing if you can reach them back just a bit more. And we'll take a side bend. You're going to bring your right hand over towards your left hand. Push down into both hands. Rest your head. Heel your right hip back. Big breath in. Big breath out. And switching sides, take your right hand over to the right side. Your left hand goes over there too. Push down in both hands. Rest your head. Pull the left hip back. One more exhale. Come back to the center. You're going to lift yourself up, hips up above your knees. You might have to bring your knees in a little bit closer. And then walk your hands out, coming into heart-melting shape or puppy dog pose. Rest your head and try to relax your heart down. One more deep full round of breath. Soften with your exhale. And start to walk your hands back in. You're going to come a little bit longer than table pose. Your heart above your thumbs. See if you can open your chest. Draw the belly in and lower as slow as you want to, which could be not very slow at all the way down. Open chested onto the floor. And then wiggle your leg bones back a little bit more to be more open in the front of your pelvis. You're going to take your hands wider than you usually would in Cobra, and then come up onto your fingertips, which might give you some space to open those collarbones a little bit more. We're going to keep the elbows out wide. Release the shoulders from their tendency to come up to the ears. Yes, you're like, you don't need to do that. You can drop back down. We'll take a couple nice slow Cobra lifts. Inhale, lifting the heart up. Exhale, soften it down. Notice how your arm bones respond in the shoulders to this. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower. 2 more. And bring your hands in by your shoulders, much closer now. Fingertips spread out wide, elbows drawn in towards the ribs to keep the chest open. You're going to lift your hips up, lift your belly up, push the floor away until your heart gets up off of it. And then push from your heart out into your hands. Curl the toes and come back to downward facing dog, or to downward facing dog. First time today, probably, many of us. Relax your head, wiggle your hips around. You bounce your heels a few times. Still strong, armpits into hands. I'm going to come forward into plank pose just for a moment. So you're gonna come forward with your heart above your thumbs and then round your upper back, so even stronger at the back of your heart. And then lift your hips up and back into down dog, still feeling that strong armpit into hand action. Real strong in the upper back. One more exhale. And then 2 feet come forward to 2 hands, finding a forward fold. Go ahead and relax your knees in order to relax your back. You might bend things a bit more. I'm going to take your fingertips to your shins. Roll your shoulders open. You feel your chest opening and reaching forward. Exhale to soften inwards a bit more, and then inhale, stand all the way up. Lift those arms, hands down at your heart. We're going to take a little bit of balance play here. I want to warm up the feet a little bit more so that they're nice and flexible and spacious, with room to like adapt and work on. So I'm rolling around on my toes here. Just pick a leg, roll around on it. I'm trying to get onto the toenail side of the foot, so I'm really working all angles, going in all of directions. When you set this foot down, just kind of notice like you might feel a little bit more open here. All of the wobbling that you're doing whenever you're balancing is really your body trying to like use its capacity to adapt, to find like that right place for you. So go ahead and work the other foot. So whenever you feel like, oh man, I'm doing such a bad job of this because I'm always wobbling all about and my stupid body can't hold me up. No, your awesome body is trying to find the perfect place where you're going to be able to be, you know, lifted and standing on one foot, which by the way is hard, just in case we forgot that. Yeah. So that's what we're doing here, is just to, whenever going into a little bit of balance work, I like to try to warm up the feet so they have a little bit more of the capacity to adapt and to find that right place for us. Yeah. So we're going to take tree pose. You might take your foot on the inside of your calf, or you can stick it up. Ooh, see, there I go. Onto your thigh. So if you're mirroring me right now, you've got your left leg up and you're standing on your right leg and you're not standing down into it. You are really rooting it down so you can get up a little taller. This is apparently going to be my weird leg today. Let's start with arms out. And then see if you can turn so the palms face up. And then the palms face down, and then the palms face up again. We're going to be in tree pose for a while. Keep pushing that foot down. Go ahead and reach your arms up. Get a little bit taller through your spine. See if you can soften your inner shoulders and still feel tall through the spine. Keep lifting up and out of that standing leg. We're going to keep lifted, but pull the elbows down. Maybe the palms go back a little bit so your chest opens. Don't let that dip your tailbone back. Keep lifting up the front of your pelvis. And now try to keep lifted in the rest of the body, but let the arms just drop. Inhale, lift it up again. Exhale, hands to the heart. See if you can pick the knee up before setting it down. Woo! Wiggle things a little bit. We'll do some of that stuff on the other side, maybe a little different, who knows? Pick your foot up on the inside of your calf or onto the inside of your thigh. So you want to keep lifting the fronts of your hips here. It's going to help to keep your core engaged. It's just going to help as another element of keeping you balanced in this weird place. Go ahead and take your arms down. Reach the fingertips outwards so my arms are strong. Turn your palms to face up and your palms to face down. And your palms to face up, lift them up. Even with your shoulders, bend your elbows. And then let those elbows pull out wide, the palms reach back. Try not to lift your tailbone up, lift the fronts of your hips instead. Inhale, reach the arms up. Take one arm down. Switch sides. Take both arms up. On your exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Take your foot up, go ahead and set it down. And wiggle things. We're gonna take your right foot forward, and we're gonna take a pyramid Pose your big hamstring stretch. The back foot is turned out slightly. It's like warrior one, but having the front leg straight. You're going to take your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, or hold on to your hips. You're going to take a flat back forward. So you are probably not going to be quite parallel to the floor, if you even are at all. You're going to push down to the front foot, feel your hip going back and your chest opening. Big exhale. Draw your belly and release your arms. Come up. You're going to take the back foot, step it forward. Lift your heart up through your hands. Feel your hips moving forward. I'm expanding the front of my body as much as possible. Not trying to dump backwards, but trying to lift everything up and forwards. Exhale. Stack everything back to neutral. Taking your right foot back. So I've got, need to adjust my feet a little bit. I don't want to stand on a tightrope. Interlace your fingers. Now interlace them the weird way where it's like you're holding somebody else's hand. And then you're going to fold forward. Or like when you hold hands with somebody the wrong way. Like, what is this? This isn't how we hold hands. Your fingers are in the wrong place. What is this nonsense? Chest is open. Exhale. Draw the belly in. You're going to release your arms. Stand up, 2 feet forward. Hips forward, heart reaching up. Arms reaching up, maybe gaze goes up. Big inhale. And exhale. Bring your hands back down. Okay. We are going to come to, where are we? I'm going to turn around and not face you at certain points. So we'll start with this way. Okay. Your right foot is forward and your left foot is back. We're going to take kind of a long series of poses here. Oh, you might want to have your block up at the front of your mat. If you ever find that you need it, it will usually need to be up at the front of your mat. So now for real, right foot forward, left foot back. You're going to come into your lunge, lifting your inner thighs and lifting your arms up. Big inhale. Stay lifted as you exhale, twist over towards your right. Keep lifting those inner thighs so your hips stay steady. Maybe lean forward slightly to give you a little bit more room to twist without your legs going anywhere, right? I didn't twist my legs over. I softened in my midsection. One more exhale. Inhale, come back to the center. And then we're going to transition into warrior two. So see if you can stay low, turning the back heel down. Maybe you wiggle the feet out wider, but don't get up higher if you can help it. Okay. I'm going to check out the front knee still goes over the front toes. Notice what's going on in your shoulders. If there's any tension, relax it. And then you're going to turn all the way over towards the left. I know I'm facing away from you. I kind of have to a little bit on both sides. All 10 toes over, lift the arms up, feel your spine getting really long. And then you're going to turn your left toes out a little bit and you're going to bend into your left knee and you're either going to come here. Notice my hips are going back to you, right? I'm not letting my hips slide over towards the left. They're going back to you. Or you can come down with the hands or down with the hips all the way down below the knee. And you get to decide as to how much of that you're going to do. One more exhale. Then you're going to come back to the center, all 10 toes face forward. Reach your arms back up. We're going to adjust the feet so that the toes all face out towards the right again. And then shift the hips back and come forward into triangle pose. Really release that right thigh bone towards the back of your hip socket. This might be where you like grabbed a block instead of trying to have your hand on your leg, because sometimes there can cause some tension trying to like put all that weight on your limbs. Take your top arm, your left arm, reach it up and out. So you're reaching your hand out in one direction and your right thigh bone is going in the other direction. And you're going to bend into your right knee. We're going to go into a low twist. So you might have your left hand down onto that block. You might not. You're going to pivot onto the back toes and lift your right arm up. We're gonna twist even more. And how we do that is you're gonna turn your toes out. I find it's easier to take the hand forward and hop the back foot up a little bit rather than trying to move this foot around too much. And then you're gonna release your hips down. Push strong into your left hand. You may or may not have your hips on the ground, that's okay. You're gonna push down in your right foot. Lift those hips up. If you can really lift them. And then you're gonna come forward, turn your toes forward, bring the back toes forward and fold. Oh my goodness. A long set. Relax your head. Let it bobble out. And fingertips to your shins, roll the heart up and forward. Exhale, soften it back down. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Lift the fronts of your hips, lift your heart. Exhale, hands back down into your heart. And we'll go through the whole thing on the other side. So you're going to take your right foot towards the back of your mat, finding this nice long lunge. You might have a block that you're going to use at some point, so having that handy. Lift your inner thighs, lift your heart up to your arms. Get that nice long spine space. And then keep the inner thighs lifted, twist over towards the left. If you lift your inner thighs and lean your heart just slightly forward, you might have more room to twist. It just gives a little bit more space in the lower back. One more exhale. Slow little flow here. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, warrior two. Adjusting your feet, trying to stay low. Check out that front thigh. Hey thigh. Relax your collarbones. Straighten the legs and turn all 10 toes to face up towards this side. Lift up nice and long. Using that cue, keeping it with you. As you turn the right leg out, you're going to bring hands to heart, hips go back. Maybe you bring the hands down. Maybe you come down, hips are down by your heel. You could even bring your hands to your heart if you wanted. This is harder. Big exhale. I like to take hands down just to give a little boost, coming all the way back up, all 10 toes face forward. Lift the spine, keep that with you. As you exhale, turn the toes out, shift the hips back. Come forward into triangle. Reach the ears out of your shoulders, reaching the ears away, finding that length in your spine. Left thigh bone pulling back towards the back hip, towards the back foot even. And you're going to reach the ears and the hand in one direction, and then the tailbone and the thigh bone in the other direction. One more breath out. You're going to take your right hand down. You're going to turn into that twisted lunge. So lift the back heel up. You want to make sure you're not on a tightrope. And the left arm lifts and the left thigh bone pulls back and the inner right thigh lifts up. One more exhale. And then you're going to twist it more. I like to hop the back foot up, take the hand forward, and then pivot onto the pinky toe edge of the back foot. Turn out the left knee and toe to face out in front of you. Release the hip down. It may not touch the floor. It might. It might feel better if you did touch the floor. Then you're going to push down on the left foot. So the hips lifting up, the arm reaches up and over. Strong left foot. And then turn to face forward. Bring 2 feet forward into a fold. And exhale to relax you. Inhale to roll the shoulders back, let the heart slide forward. Exhale, folding down again. All the way up, big breath in. And hands down into your heart. So if you feel like you ever have like a hard time reaching the floor in a wide-legged forward fold, I want you to grab a block. So I do want you to have your hand on the floor out in front of you, or like a stack of books or something. Okay? So you're going to have that right in the middle of your space with your legs out wide, toes face forward. With that big inhale, lifting long through your spine, and then exhale, fold it forward. So you're gonna have your right, or I'll mirror you, put your left hand on the block or on the floor out in front of you, and you wanna be able to push down into that hand, okay? You're gonna take your other arm and you're gonna reach to the opposite leg. You're gonna hold it somewhere. You can have bent knees as long as they're both evenly bent. You're gonna pull the leg and push down into the hand that's on the block or the floor. Okay? Pushing down, pulling in. Now relax your inner thigh muscles. Maybe your hips will go a little bit more balanced. One more breath out. And unwind that. You're going to take your opposite hand onto the block or onto the floor. Reach underneath yourself. Grab the other leg. Pull the leg. Push the floor or the block or whatever is like a block. A stack of token nozzles or what have you. Pushing down. Softening the upper back. Allowing it to expand, the belly softening, allowing the back to expand. Ooh, that tapped into something. One more exhale. And then come back to the center. I want you to put the weight into your feet, just in case you've had any weight in your hands. So you can keep the weight in your feet. You're in fact going to come up onto fingertips. Keep the hips up above your feet, or rather in between your feet. See how far you can walk your fingertips out and forward without changing the weight and the placement of your lower body. You're not going to go, you can take your hands up at any time, right? One more exhale. Lock the hands back in, little bend in the knees, hands to the heart, lift the heart all the way up. And then you'll bring your feet back together towards the front of your mat space. We're going to start working it back down. Come up into the front of your space. I'm going to take your hands and shake them out. And flick water off your fingers. We're going to do a little bit more down dog work before we wrap up here. So want your hands nice and warm. Active blood pumping in them. Ugh. Okay. And then inhale, lift it all up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway up, big breath in. And then you're going to bend the knees as much as you need to plant those hands down. Start stepping your feet back, finding downward facing dog. And your heart is pressing down into those hands. You're going to take your feet a footprint further forward and then wider. You might have your heels down. It's going to be easier if you can get your heels down. And you can have a little bend in your knees too. That's okay. You're going to leave your right hand where it is. Come up onto left fingertips. Your body says stop, listen to it. If you are interested in going further, try to reach underneath with the left hand for the right thigh and then pull yourself underneath without your hips sliding over to the right, right? Like, can you lift your inner thighs and stay mostly centered? Exhale. Switch sides. You're going to take your left hand down. It has to do twice the work now. As you come up on the right fingertip, look for your left thigh, or your left shin. You're going to hold on to it with the right hand. Lift both inner thighs back, push strong into your left arm, maybe check out your armpit. Hey, armpit. And then both hands are down. You're going to walk your feet back into your normal-ish down dog spacing. Big exhale. And lower your knees. And you're going to come forward with your right knee into pigeon pose. So your shin comes forward. The foot is in front of your hip. Go ahead and slide your back leg back. You might bring a blanket or a block to this hip. And then we're going to come forward, sleeping pigeon. Letting that thigh bone drift towards the back of the hip socket. Just being here with your breath for a while. About 3 more breaths on your own. And coming up on your hands, I'm gonna curl the back to, just actually slide your right shin back, and then you're gonna bring your left shin forward. And one more thing I wanted to do with that later. Go ahead and release your right leg back, and then you're gonna stay hips balanced, thigh bone going to the back of the hip, releasing into this pigeon, softening inwards, being mindful if you're telling yourself a story about being tight. Being mindful if you're telling yourself a story that this pain is something that you can deal with and it's going to be totally fine, so you're just going to stay here and suffer. Don't stay here and suffer. Suffering is a part of things, discomfort is a part of things, but you usually don't really need that in your yoga practice, so maybe don't. Breathing nice and easy. One more exhale. Start to come up. I'm going to pull your shin back. We are going to go back into downward dog. Spread those fingertips out. You can do this work from table pose if you're done with being on your hands today. It'll just be the same sort of leg lifting and bending open. You can go into downward dog. We'll go right there, pressing from the backs of the arms, the backs of the shoulders, down into the hands. You're going to keep the left heel nice and heavy. Don't try to fly it up in the air, but do fly the right heel up in the air, and then bend your knee, open your hip up. Pushing strong into both arms so your left hip isn't falling down into your left armpit. Big exhale. And then take the leg up and set it down. We're going to take the left heel, lift it up. You're dropping the right heel down, bending your left knee, and pushing strong into both arms so that the right hip isn't falling down into the right armpit. One more exhale. Release your foot down. You're going to lower the knees, and we're going to take and swing the legs out in front. Take your right leg, draw it in. You're going to cross it over if that's comfortable to you. Lift your left toes, hug the thigh, right hand in close. Lift your heart, soften the belly as you twist. Pull that thigh bone in. Soften that low belly. One more exhale. And back to the center. One exhale, twisting over towards the left side. And then come back to the center. You're going to uncross the leg if it was crossed. Bring the foot on the inside of your leg. I like to scooch forward a little bit here. Maybe even lifting up the fleshy bum stuff. And then coming forward into a fold that feels good on your body. And there's really sometimes just no easy answer to what's the right story to be telling. And there's a guy in a yoga community I was in, and he came in, he was really not super flexible when he started off, and he just kind of had a good attitude about it and really enjoyed practicing. And he was telling his buddy about it, and his buddy's like, oh man, I can't do yoga, I can't touch my toes. And the guy's like, oh no, I can't touch my toes either, watch. And he goes and flops forward and gets his hands right on his feet. He's like, I've never been so surprised. You're just having that willingness to see what's available to you. One more exhale. start to pull yourself back up. Just take your hands back behind you, roll those shoulders back, open the front of your heart, and then let everything soften again. So we're gonna switch the legs, taking your right leg forward, left leg draws in. You're gonna keep it here or cross it over, it's up to you. Keep the toes lifted. We're gonna pull the thigh in, lift the heart, this left hand is in nice and close, and then soften the belly as you twist. One more breath out. Releasing your twist. You're going to take one exhale, twisting over towards the right. And coming back to the center. Unwind your legs so that you can take the foot on the inside of the leg. And then I like to scooch forward, maybe adjust some fleshy stuff. And we're always thinking soft and squishy in the lower back, wide in the lower back, right? As you come forward into a fold. Letting go of whatever story you've told yourself about exactly how far you're supposed to be getting into this. Give it about 2 more breaths. Start to lift yourself up. I'm going to take both legs, extend them forward, and come into a fold. Resting the heart down. Maybe make a little adjustment. Wiggle. I'm feeling I can wiggle a little bit more space in. I'm just kind of checking that out. Soft and squishy lower back, nice and wide in the lower back. Two more breaths. Start to walk yourself back up. You just take the fingertips back behind you. Let your chest stretch up and forward. Soften as you exhale. And then you're going to take your legs out wide. Of course, space it out however you like. I like facing you. You're going to come forward just for a moment. You already might have a little bit more space in than you may usually. One more exhale. And then walk it back. Lift your toes, slide the left or right hand out to the right side, reach your left arm up and over and release that left thigh bone down. Soften the belly. Breathing out. Lifting up as you breathe in. Taking your left arm out to the left, right arm goes up and over, and then the thigh bone, don't let it sneak up, drop it down. Even if your hip wasn't up, was your thigh bone up? Soften the belly. Exhale. Lifting up. And again, taking this forward, maybe now a little softer in the back. You can relax your toes. Maybe after a bit, you're able to go a little further. Maybe you're already at your peak and working with your breath. In that case, do stay there. One more exhale. Start to walk it back. I'm gonna bring the legs back in. We're gonna come back into fish pose. So you're gonna go back onto your elbows. Your elbows down, push down to those elbows, feel your heart listen up. Maybe you can wiggle so your tailbone points down. Go ahead and let your head go back if that feels comfy to you. Extend your legs if that feels comfy to you. Bring your elbows closer to your hips if you feel like coming down onto your head is good. But it's not where your weight is. Your strength is in your core here, the lifting of your chest. Exhale. Widen your elbows, pick your head up, relax your whole body down. Letting yourself settle into the floor for a moment. You're going to take your right leg and you're going to hold on to it. It might be even behind your thigh because I'd like you to try to leave your left leg out long. In fact, can you flex that left foot? So your right leg is the one that's relaxed and your left foot is the one you're pressing into. Maybe the leg does come in closer, but you're not trying to squeeze this as much as you're trying to push that one out. Stay pushing that out as you take just the right hand and open that right leg out to the right. And bring it back up. You can relax the left leg as you work this into a twist with just the one right knee coming over, right arm opening out. One more exhale. And back to the center. Slide that right leg out. And then summon the left one in. Flex that right leg, feel it be the active one. The left leg is trying to be the soft one. So reacting. Long through that right side. Stay long through the right as you open the left knee out to the left. One more breath out. Oh, excuse me. Taking the knee across the body. Yeah, you're gonna relax that right leg, open the left arm, soften the belly into the split. One more exhale. And back to the center. I'm going to set the soles of both feet down. Go ahead and draw them in. Now, if you have a block or two or a Tolkien novel or two that you're going to want to slide underneath your thighs, you can do that. You can do just one leg at a time if it feels very tender to do both for your inner thigh. But if you're able to get both knees open, maybe if it's even just your fingertips that you go and plug in here at the tops of your thigh bones, and then allow your dog to lick off all of your salty skin. Maybe wiggle your shoulder blades underneath your heart. Hey. Oh, don't lick the microphone. It's gonna sound extra weird to them. I said if you need to switch to just one leg, you can do that. We are going to be here for a little bit. Noticing your breath response to where we're at. I will let you know when we're about halfway. If you do have just the one leg out, you might want to switch to the other side about now if you need to Give yourself a little break, do that. If you need to move those fingertips under your thighs, go ahead, do that. One more exhale. 2 more exhales. I think we need a little more time on that leg. And then eventually starting to come back to that place where both of your knees are up. Widen your feet a little bit, let the knees smack against each other. And then you're gonna take your right leg, you're gonna slide it underneath this left ankle, reach underneath with your left hand to hold onto it. See if you can bring the knee really close to that foot. So you've got a lot of space opening on the front of this hip. Knee is down, roll over as much as you need to. Take the right arm behind your head, wiggle it to the left if you like, if you have the space. One more breath in. Deep breath out. And start to unwind that right leg and the right arm, coming back to the center. Bring your feet evenly dispersed here. And then it's your left foot that comes over. Try to bring the knee close to the right foot. Soften the belly down. It's fine if the right hip lifts a little bit. Take the arm behind the head. Bring the left elbow over to the right side a little bit more. No. Go ahead and release the left foot, unwinding it, releasing your arm, come back to the center again, knees knock inward. And draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. We'll rock side to side. And then drop your knees over to the right, finding a twist. Come in just as close as you like. Open your arms, soften your belly, look up or over towards the left. Get softer with every exhale. Deep breath in. Soft exhale. Deep breath in. Soft exhale. Start to move to the other side. Wrapping in as close as you like. Maybe you have to wiggle your shoulders a bit. Let that belly soften. Look up or over towards the right arm. Keep seeing if there's any place you can let go. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Again, breathing in. Letting go with your exhale. Start to come back to the center. Feet out a little bit wider and knees against each other. Place a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. Just finding this long, steady rhythm of your breath. Observing how you're feeling as we wrap up practice. If anything's coming up for you. And start extending your legs out long. Reach your arms up overhead. A nice long stretch, a big full breath in. And as you exhale, let it all go. Do that 2 more times. Nice and full as you breathe in. Big exhale, letting it all go. Once more, inhale. Exhale. If there's anything else that you need to round out your practice, go ahead and move there. If you're ready to find Shavasana or any variation of that, then go for it. As you wiggle your shoulders under your back, giving a little bit more open space to your heart. Taking a little survey of any place in the body where you might still be tight or resisting this rest. And give that opportunity to soften. An invitation to soften. Enjoy your rest. Start to come back to your body. You need to wiggle your fingers and toes a bit perhaps to help wake you up. Reach your arms up overhead, finding that nice long stretch again. Filling yourself up and then letting everything go. Rolling over to one side, curling inwards for a moment of gratitude for practice. Take your time coming up to your own version of a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands to your heart, turning inwards. Sealing our practice, we release an Om together. Big breath in. Bowing down to the light and the darkness, the love within each of our hearts. Namaste. Thanks for being here, everybody. Have wonderful days. Good to see you.
April, by the way, I heard you just fine.
Oh, good. Good. Awesome. Thank you for the feedback. Hopefully that will continue to be the case.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you. Let me know if you need anything, guys. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see y'all soon. Thanks, Rachel. Bye, Robin Mel. Bye, Victoria and Marco. Take care, guys.